Good morning, everybody. Let's see if I am live here. Just want to pull my phone up. Good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. This is Angie Oldenburg. I'm the first presenter of the morning. And just, again, yep, looks like I'm live. All right, I can probably see your comments if I'm looking at my computer. So say hello if you're here. Welcome to day 2 of our Global Inspiration Stamp Team event for May, featuring the online exclusives that are new and the new annual catalog and our new in colors. So if you haven't had a chance to see the presentations from yesterday, you know that you can go back and watch those on replay. And we're going to have all kinds of resources for you to make sure that you don't miss any of them. Okay, so I am the first one up today, and I am focusing on the Sweet Jar Bundle. This is an online exclusive, and Leanne used it yesterday in her presentation also, so please go back and watch her. She had a lot of fun ideas, and that's the only presentation I was able to see. I had a little downtime at work yesterday, so I have to go back and watch everybody's also. So I kind of fell in love with this. I thought it was very, very cute. It comes with a punch and a stamp set, and it is a photopolymer set. And I'm going to apologize if you hear my dog running back and forth, whining, barking. It's been a morning already, and this is the time of year that baby bunnies like to be about outside our house, and he is obsessed with baby bunnies or any kind of bunny, and he will go crazy if he sees one. So I apologize in advance if you hear any barking, crying, screaming from my animal. It is a beautiful morning here too, so I have my windows open to get some fresh air in here. So, okay. I decided to do a shaker card today. So it was the first time I've done a shaker card in a long time. So it took me a little bit to kind of remind myself how to make them. But we're going to go through them step by step today. So I just used a basic white card base and some of our designer series paper colors. Let me see, I'll move it up maybe a little bit so that you can see it. And then these are our new shaker elements. They're called loose shaker elements, and they're very pretty. There are iridescent little stars and circles and things, and then just white or clear iridescent little, I don't know what they are. Oh, you know what? Now somebody's gonna mow their lawn. Let me close my windows. I apologize. It is Saturday morning, so hold on one second while I close my windows. Sorry for that pause. Let's see. I'm also going to see if there's anybody on with me. Nobody watching quite yet, but that's okay. We'll just get going, and hopefully somebody will join us. Okay, so basic white card base, and then these measurements here, we'll kind of go through them as I go. So I'm going to set the finished card aside. Oops. So that I can see it. Okay. And we're not going to do any stamping on this one quite yet on the card base, but we are going to start with the jar. So I just have a scrap piece of white that I'm going to stamp the jar on, and that's going to be the background. So let me grab, I am using for this the Secret Sea, which is one of our new in colors, and it is a really dark, I think dark blue gray. It's kind of hard to describe it. So on this kind of a card, when we're using other colors, it looks black or dark gray. But if you put it right up to a black, it looks completely different than black. So it's kind of versatile in that way. All right, so this is the jar outline. I'm just gonna stamp it on white. And then I'm gonna, on the card that I showed you, I actually forgot to stamp it on the inside, so we're gonna do that part today. So we're gonna put something in the jar other than the shaker elements. So I'm gonna also use Strawberry Slush and Timid Tiger. And I'm gonna make some, I would say jelly beans, I guess, or sweets of some sort. And we can just stamp that right there. And then I'm gonna use, there's this like little sprinkle one, and I'm gonna use the Strawberry Slush. So they're gonna be pink and orange candies. Actually, hold up, before I do that one, I'm going to hold there. This is the solid background that will fill in the empty spaces of the jar. So let me actually, I should have grabbed a scratch paper. Hold on. Because I want to stamp off, so I just grab some printer paper for now, because I can't find another piece of paper. So this is the solid background, and I'm using the Timid Tiger, and I'm going to stamp off once, because otherwise those jelly beans would just get kind of melted into a big blob. So now the background is covered with orange, and I'm going to close this one up, set that aside, and now I'm going to put my little sprinkles on here. There. So we have some spotted little candies, and that's probably a long ways away, so let me show that to you. See if it'll focus. And then let's see, then we are going to pull in, sorry, I gotta rearrange my stuff here. We're gonna put, actually let's do all the black stamp, or the Secret Sea stamp again at the same time. This is the just the layer for the grading on the front. So I'm going to use the sentiment in the stamp set that says sending a little blank your way, so you can fill in whatever. Oh yes, lovely. My dog has his squeaker toy now. Well, welcome to my world this morning. Okay, so we're just going to stamp this kind of right in the middle. There we go. And then I'm going to put in the word sweetness, and we're going to use Strawberry Slush for that. And with this stamp set, you can kind of fill in the blanks. There are these other words you can put in between there, in between the layers. Sorry about the squeaky toy. Nigel. Hey, buddy, stop, please. Time out. Whoa, gosh, I apologize for that. Usually he's taking a nap by now, so he's just excited today. And then we have these little hearts. So I'm just going to put a couple little hearts on this. Oops, and I should have, hold on, let me, he got me all discombobulated here, so I apologize. Let me make sure I don't make a mess of this. So this side first. And I just want to make sure that I have a piece of paper in between so I don't get shadows of the other hearts where I don't want them. When I planned on inking them up separately. So, actually, let me pull that off there. There we go. That was a little messy. I apologize for that one. Okay. All right. So then we've got that little greening layer completed. So let me stick that down as long as I got that done so that we don't lose our pieces. This designer series paper is from another online exclusive called Floral Impressions. So this designer series paper has strawberry slush in it, and it's one of the back sides without a flower on it. So that's what I'm using today. Okay, so then we'll put this here, rearrange everything. And so the window sheet that I'm using actually is, when I get my photopolymer sets, I don't necessarily keep them. Usually you'll have the stamps between two pieces of clear plastic. That drives me a little crazy, so I stick them right to the inside of my stamp case. So these are the window sheets, or the plastic, clear plastic that our stamp sets come on, the photopolymer ones, and I just recycle them, use them for these kinds of things. So that's what I'm using. Certainly you can buy window sheets. I actually have a box of transparency sheets that I bought years ago that I'm still using up for this kind of thing as well. So the next step, I think maybe I'll build my front panel. So this piece is 3 inches by 5 to go on the front layer of the card front. I kept it actually, let me see, 5 1/4. I kept it a little long so that I could trim it off depending on where my punch ends up. So the challenging part is getting the image of the jar behind where you're punching. That was my biggest challenge in lining everything up. So the reason why I made this a 3-inch wide panel of cardstock was because our punches are 3 inches wide, and I can then pretty much eyeball the punch in so that it's centered on the panel of the card. Otherwise, if it's bigger, I'm really challenged by trying to get it in the center. So this is the best trick I've come up with, is just to make my card panel 3 inches, and then you put it in the center of your punch, and it gets to be, it's in the middle from left to right. So that's what I did with that. Then I'm just using little strips of the cardstock and the designer series paper to make the little decoration along the sides here. You don't have to waste whole sheets of paper. You can just use little strips. Certainly a good way to use up cardstock and designer series paper scraps. And I'm bringing in my silicone mat because it gets a little messy with just the adhesive, whichever one you use. I always find that something gets on the table that I'm using. So I'm just gonna run a strip of seal along the edge, and then and I should have cleaned up my flip that over so it's cleaner. And then I am going to put it towards the bottom because I'm going to trim off this top edge. I left it a little long, like I said, so I could get the punching right. You don't have to do that. That's just my preference when I'm trying to do these things. And I just leave a little overhang of the about a quarter of an inch, or I mean probably an eighth of an inch. You certainly can use glue because you'll be able to kind of slide it around or move it a little bit. I'm just checking to make sure I'm on here because I'm just surprised that nobody's awake with me this morning. Okay. Alrighty, we keep going. And then I add another layer of adhesive, whatever your choice. And again, line it up on the bottom. Just have a little bit of a overlap. Nigel's sitting outside my office, just sad now. All right, and then I have 2 strips of the designer series paper that I wanted to use too. Probably the biggest trick is to get it even on each side here. Okay. And then as long as I'm sticking stuff down here, let me put this layer down too. And then I'm just going to take, you could put this in your paper trimmer, but it's just as easy to kind of slice it with a scissor to kind of make it straight across. Use one that you're okay getting some adhesive on. And that's the front. So that's our decoration. Let me set that aside. I think I am done with stamping for now. So I'm going to close these up so I don't get my fingers in them. Set them aside. And then we're going to do our shaker element. So the first thing we can do is put the clear piece on the back side and stick that down however you would like to. Now you can use glue dots, you can use tape. Glue probably does not work very well, but I have used glue dots before and that typically works. Doesn't matter if we don't get it on that because that's not going to be part of the shaker element. I'm going to just have it in the main section of the jar. And then I'm using our foam strips that are exactly for this purpose, but of course can be used for other things too, to make the little shaker kind of area that we put the shaker elements in. Okay, so then I'm going to just get a scissor so I can kind of snip these, and you just line up. You can make them, you can curve it a little bit because it is thin enough. And I would put it up right pretty close to the hole. Otherwise your little shaker pieces kind of slide behind the cardstock and you can't see them very well. So you want to make them stay in an area where you'll be able to see them when you're shaking the front of the card. So let's see. Actually, I might do a little bit there to kind of curve. And then I'm going to do it below where the cover is. Does not have to be neat because this is the back side. Extra piece there. Okay, so then the biggest trick it always is, how do you get your shaker elements in there when you're assembling the card? So one way is to put them right in here and then put this piece on top. Of course, then you can't really see where you're lining everything up. You can, if I wasn't on camera, I would just put them in here and then like hold it above my head and line it up. That's one way to do it. But the other way is just to kind of pile them in here and then set the top layer down on top of it. So that's what I'm going to try to attempt today to see if it's going to work. I am also going to put, because all of this backside is going to be elevated, we don't want some of it being like smushy or, you know, not saggy, I guess the term would be. So we're going to put some foam pieces behind the rest of the card too. You can use dimensionals if you want, but these are just easier because then they'll be all the same height. Let's see, maybe do one on each side for the sides. You don't want the sides to sag. And maybe one more right here. So you want to make sure you have all of that stuff, all those layers or extra pieces of foam on the back, ready to roll when you are gonna set your shaker card down. Because once it's stuck, it's kind of stuck. Okay, the moment of truth. Okay, so here are the little shaker elements. If I can get it open without spilling them, which is another little challenge. I just had them open like 2 seconds ago when I showed them to you. Okay, hold on. Goodness gracious. Okay. There we go. Okay. So they are a little staticky too. That's the other challenge. So I'm just going to grab a few and put them in the middle. And you don't need a lot to make it be fun, because any little amount of shaker bits is a nice surprise when you're giving a card. Okay, so that's all I'm going to put in, I think, because you need to have some space to stick stuff down. Make sure I don't have anything on my fingers. Whew. Okay. Try not to mess with that pile, because that's the challenge. They can go everywhere. Okay. So then I am just going to lay this over the top. Let me see if, try not to have too much glare so that it's mostly centered, and pick that up. Okay. And then I'm going to bring my card front in. Because we have all the extra pieces of foam already done and stuck to the back, we can just lay it right on the top of our card. And there we have it. Shaker card. Okay, so then I have to cover up this. This is my last piece of the puzzle. Actually like it with the jelly beans behind there. That's kind of fun. I like that better than my plain jar that I did yesterday. I'll show you the difference. So with the punch, you also can punch out the cover to the jar, and I just punched out one of those in the Secret Sea. And then I'm gonna just kind of tilt it and put it over the top. So I did put it up on some dimensionals, and you can use the foam strips for this too if you want. You just want to make sure you're gonna cover up anything of the mess that, like the mess that I made. Probably hard to see, but you can see where the window sheet is there. I just want to make sure that that's covered up. So I'm going to put 2 little foam strips. And they get sticky. There. I've had like fumble fingers this morning. I don't know. Dropping stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to tilt it a little bit so that it covers up that back side, and some of that is hidden, and it looks like it's kind of half off. Some sticky stuff on the back of my card when I was trying not to. Hold on. It's from that silicone mat, the other side. Okay, so this is my card. You certainly can, let's see, put something on the inside. I didn't do that today because this was going to take enough time. Here's the original one without anything in the jar, stamped in the jar with shaker. And then this one with the little jelly beans in there. You certainly can add some more bling to the front of the card if you want. The in color gems are really cute. Oh goodness, excuse me. Got a tickle. So maybe I'll add. Let's see, where's my take your pick tool? Disappeared here. Goodness, I'm missing stuff today. I had my club was here making cards with me the other night, so it's probably in a box somewhere with my card samples. So do that. I like the glue dot kind of came off from behind that one. There. Adds a little sparkle to the front of the card. I like how iridescent these are, and they are a little bit more flat, so they could be mailed a little bit easier than some of our embellishments. So that is my shaker card today. Leanne has a lot of samples, so please go watch hers for more samples. I only had one other sample. This is the card that my club gals had put together. And so similar color pattern because I wanted to use the in colors, and then I just had them punch out the jar and make a little card for someone to send them a treat. So those are the 2 samples I have. and I hope you enjoyed the shaker card. And again, all the details will be in the PDF if you place an order by the 18th. I'm going to be coming back later on this afternoon, kind of just do a recap of everything so that you know what's happening. The person that will be coming up next will be Katie Johnson. She'll be coming up at the top of the hour. So if you want to go grab a snack, a drink, use the restroom, definitely go back and watch the others that have done their presentations yesterday. And we've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 more for this the rest of this morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. All right, hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you later on this afternoon for the recap.